That's Maxwell House coffee. Listen to the sound of the Maxwell House coffee pot at work. Pour a cup of this good-smelling coffee. It will taste as good as it smells because it's good ground Maxwell House. Maxwell House coffee is...
Coffee, a caffeinated beverage made from ground Coffea arabica beans. Prepared and sold in every corner of the globe, coffee is truly a cultural staple with unique flavors all over the world. This video will seek to explore the phenomenon of coffee culture. Coffee beans can be traced back to Ethiopia, but widespread successful trade began on the Arabian Peninsula. By the 16th century, it was known in Persia, Egypt, Syria, and Turkey. It was here where coffee was enjoyed not only in the home, but in coffee houses, then called Kueva Kane. These fostered social activity and generated human interactions. From there, coffee, or the wine of Araby as it was known, would take off and eventually take hold of consumers and society as a whole in Europe during the 17th century. European travelers to the Near East brought back stories of an unusual dark black beverage. By the 17th century, coffee had made its way to Europe and was becoming popular across the continent. However, some people reacted to this new beverage with suspicion or fear, calling it the bitter invention of Satan. The local clergy condemned coffee when it came to Venice in 1615. The controversy was so great that Pope Clement VIII was asked to intervene. He decided to taste the beverage for himself before making a decision, and found the drink so satisfying that he gave it papal approval. Despite such controversy, coffee houses were quickly becoming centers of social activity and communication in the major cities of England, Austria, France, Germany, and Holland. In England, Penny University sprang up, so named because, for the price of a penny, one could purchase a cup of coffee and engage in stimulating conversation. Going forward in time by about 200 years, coffee experienced a bit of a change post-industrialization in many Western countries. Coffee remained a social accessory, but was now also an on-the-go beverage. It was even rationed so that soldiers could drink it in the First and Second World War. People of all ages began to drink it more routinely, and its market expanded exponentially.
Combining the leisurely graces of 17th century England with the colour, art and imagination of modern taste, coffee houses like this one at Kensington are having a new vogue throughout the country. Waiters from Trinidad and Marseille, furnishings from Argentina and Hong Kong, music from Latin America. These exotic touches create an unusual and colourful atmosphere. The art of conversation, too, is sharing in the revival of the coffee house. With the unhurried philosophy of the Parisian at its pavement table, a new type of cafe society is growing up in Britain.
Not to be excluded, however, was the parallel rise in luxurious cafes and couture, sometimes culturally insensitive coffee centers. This was almost a pushback against the domestic marketing that made coffee more mundane in the same time period.
The Viennese coffee house is a very, very important part for Viennese life on its whole. The German writer Bertolt Brecht used to say, Wien, das ist diese kleine Stadt, die um lauter Kaffeehäuser herum gebaut ist. Und drinnen sitzt die Bevölkerung und liest den ganzen Tag Zeitung.
With all of the mid-20th century history in mind, it makes sense that coffee now exists as both a social luxury in cafes, but also as a cup of joe at the breakfast table. In European cities, cafes stand at most street corners, ranging in luxury and many serving accompanying baked cafe goods. Coffee culture here, like in France or Italy, where most of this footage originates, matches a more leisurely pace that is inherent to their unique societies. It's a unique tranquility. Outside of urban centers and far north of France or Italy, Scandinavian coffee culture takes on its own aroma and feel. Fika is Swedish for coffee break, but it's much more about the socializing than it is about the coffee, and it brings people together in a very special way sometimes. Of course, coffee has become a huge industry and has been incessantly advertised via all media since it's been mainstream to own a television.
Mr. Cooper, you tricked me. Taste this coffee.
Tastes like good fresh ground coffee.
But I ordered decaffeinated.
I sent you new Brim decaffeinated coffee. New improved freeze-dried Brim.
Thanks in part to the nature of its industry, it has become things like decaf, but in general, more accessible to everyone. We all have at least one friend who's Starbucks obsessed, whether because they like coffee or it's just a trend. But to close out, I'll leave you with my favorite McCafe commercial from the early 2000s.
Hey dude,
Please, don't even talk to me until I have my coffee. Okay?
Oh hey Tim.
Sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet. No.
Morning. Welcome to McDonald's. Can I interest you in a
Not before I have my coffee.
premium roast coffee for just $1?
Talk to me.
Introducing McDonald's new $1 menu at breakfast. Try a cup of freshly brewed premium roast coffee for just $1 each every day, and you'll see why nobody makes breakfast like McDonald's.
And just like that, in 2.5 centuries, a cup of coffee has gone from a penny to $1 at a McDonald's, and across the sea. So I hope next time you take a sip of some nice warm or even iced coffee, you think about all the history that surrounds that cup of joe.